Hi, we're the Sowerses, and I'm Rich, Shandi, Gideon, Elijah, Kira, and Matthew. I would describe our family as crazy
and quirky.
And there's a few of them that likes to talk a lot.
Yeah, we do work a lot. We homeschool, so that's a big part of our day. We like to hike, which he hasn't
trying to get back into.
Yeah, he's trying to get back into it now. Do you like going to church? Yep.
Well, on October the 8th, 2018, I was at work and I got hit by a tree limb. And basically, that's all I remember for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got a phone call that he had been hurt at work and was being flown to UVA, and I didn't get a whole lot of details about his injury then. But then when I got to the hospital, they said he had had a brain injury, bleeding on the brain. His spine had been fractured, and we didn't realize it at the time, but he had had a spinal cord injury as well. He was paralyzed in his right leg and other parts of his body. He had a broken clavicle, broken ribs. What else? He was a mess.
6 ribs, punctured lungs.
And he went into surgery that night to fix his spine. That was the main thing, was to get that fused back together. And in the ER that night, when Dr. Lee, the spine surgeon, was going over everything with me, Pastor Micah was actually in there and prayed with Dr. Lee and shared our faith with him. And I don't know, it was like at that moment, even though I was scared, I had peace knowing that somehow God was gonna use all this. And Dr. Lee actually shared with us later that from the moment Pastor Micah had prayed with him, he just knew Rich was gonna be okay. At UVA, he spent a month at UVA at Encompass Health. And then after that, we spent 2 months in Omaha, Nebraska. And he started walking again.
Took a while. Well, I mean, basically my most challenging would be the physical aspects. I mean, they was telling me I wasn't gonna walk again, no more kids. And I mean, things were just gonna be completely different for me. I mean, they wanted to set the house up like handicap accessible and everything, so I mean.
And he told me no way. He was like, I will walk again.
So I mean, it was kind of hard to swallow.
And it was, I think, for me, the most challenging was, even though we knew God's hand was on us and he'd be okay, was just, I think as a man, it was so discouraging for him to be laying in bed and not be able to take himself to the bathroom or be able to walk. And the first day at UVA, he was like, I'm ready to go back to work. And that is such a big thing for Rich, is he is such a hard worker, and that's so ingrained into him, and to not be able to work was really hard. And then when we found out we were being sent to Omaha, they wanted to send him out by himself, and he was like, no way. And God stepped in and made a way, and we were all together the whole time, and that was definitely God, because once we got out there, we realized that just does not happen for other families. When they told us that we may not be able to have more kids, that was definitely hard, because we hadn't really had the conversation that we were done, and a year later, here he was. So,
I mean, he was there with us the whole time. I mean, looking back, I never sat there and questioned God, why? I mean, I don't remember ever doing that. I mean, it's life. Stuff's gonna happen. So, I mean, I'm thankful for where I've made it so far today. I mean, he's been there for us.
And I was so thankful. People just, from night one, they were like, well, what can we do? What can we do? And I honestly, I didn't know what to tell people. I really didn't know what I needed. I was just in this mode of shock. And but it was like, even though I really didn't know what to ask for, it was God gave people wisdom people at our church and our family to just step in and provide needs that I didn't even realize that we had. Physical needs and taking care of our kids and coming to see Rich at the hospital. People put themselves on the back burner to help us, and I was so thankful. I think it was so good for my kids and me to see Rich, the way he didn't question God, and his determination to get better, and just the way God strengthened his faith.
Well, the biggest thing that God has taught us through, His trust. And everything's in His timing. So we're just here for the ride, man.
Through the way He's healed Rich, He's healed Rich beyond anything we ever could have imagined. When we got back from Omaha and Rich saw his old doctor, it was like he just had the shocked look on his face, like, you're walking in here, because he was in a wheelchair when we left to go to Nebraska, and it's been amazing what God's done. So we're thankful.